Getting the camera set up. I'm running a little behind schedule this morning. Uh, we will make sure everything is looking good. Just looking at January on my last night very quickly. Had to figure out a time that we did something, and that is super convenient to have. Um, so let's see. Get situated. This was our last week. As you can see, I have these papers that I just kind of toss in here if I'm writing. I have not finished filling out these. I haven't finished filling out these days here. Um, there's just been a lot going on. So I ended up going to an event last night. So I was out of the house all night. I didn't get back until almost midnight. And so it was just, yesterday was very different than what I thought it would be. Um, so anyway, um, welcome. Good morning. I will feel a little less kind of discombobulated here in a minute, imagine. I moved the camera, so I'm going to wait and see how. Oh, I made it worse. I'm going to stand up again and look at it. One of the problems with the camera, I can see what I do in the computer because I do always have the live open on my computer so that I can see it. And so I am able to see what I'm doing, but it's in a delay. So if I make an adjustment like that, I can't then see it right away. So, okay, I think we're good. And let me just drop a good morning in the chat. All right. So this is how last week has ended up being so far. Just kind of liking this as a color, um, as a colored ink here. I don't do colored inks very often. If you've planned with me for a while, you know that I'm usually on the weeklies, at least, doing a black ink. And that's because my black ink is a permanent ink. And so I tend to prefer to have a permanent ink on my weeklies. And so that's what I've been kind of doing. We're going to make a weekly that's very similar to this one. So let me get some particulars here. All right, right above 11, 4, and 11. Okay. The reason we're going to do something similar to that week is that we are going to be traveling again this coming week. So here's our nice fresh day. And I'm going to do, we've got 4 washis here. These are all the travel washis that I have for the Coffee Monsters Co. Now in this one, she's got a cute little flower in her hair. The other one does not. So there are some differences. They're a little bit further apart. Um, on this one. Also, the background is big difference. And then these, again, very similar, but not exact. This one has got the silver foil. This one has the gold foil, and some slightly different things there in the foiling. But again, very, very similar. So if we line these up, we've got some similar emoti characters, and then we've also got some minor differences. Well, part of it is that this is the edge of the roll. So we're going to try and work with all of these today. I think I'm going to start placing. The reason that I want to do a layout like I did back in January is because I'm traveling again this week. So here, this worked really, really well, having the weather in the middle and the all that kind of thing, the travel stuff in the middle, and then having just the kind of general idea. But I'm not traveling for the whole week this week, so I need to have a little bit different layout than I did that time. So we are going to, let's see, where to put this down. Now this is one of those tapes that unrolls what I consider the wrong way. Uh, it's It's not the fault of the tape. It is more of a me thing. I'm gonna put this down here. I'm so used to unrolling washi from left to right and sticking it down from left to right that it's just really hard for me to do it the other way. And so I end up flipping the book upside down so that I can stick it the way that I normally like to stick it. There are no rules here, just whatever makes you happy. This is, your planner when you're doing it. So you don't have to follow some blanket rule that somebody set out. Now this one unrolls the way I'm used to. So we're going to go ahead and put this one down here at the bottom. Right around at that time. These are so cute. I love these, especially for travel weeks. This week I had such trouble picking out or thinking about anything I was going to do. I've been really busy for the last couple weeks. And I've just really been feeling it. And so I haven't really been in the office much, the home office, that is. I've been in the work office a lot. And since I haven't been in the home office much in the evenings, I really haven't thought a lot about the planning of this coming week. And I've kind of been putting it off in my brain. There's a lot that's been going on. I may end up on my own over for down in Florida now. Originally, my bosses were planning on going down on the Tuesday, and they were going to be down through the weekend, and then I was coming down on Wednesday through Saturday, and then but now there's been some potential change of plans, so I don't know if that's going to happen. And so It just it's more confusing by the day. So, and doesn't help that I am just going into this week being just completely exhausted from the couple weeks before this. So I'm going to put this maybe here. What if we go here? I don't think I want two of these. I'm just going to use the one, I think. Right down the middle here. I am I made a note in here that I have to do a lot of video filming this week because I have to have everything ready for this next week, um, because I won't be here to film it during the last part of the week. With the exception of Friday, I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm going to do that while I'm at work, while I'm down in Florida. That's gonna be interesting. Um, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. I think this is the pink that I want. I pulled out this pink color, but I am going to give it a quick test here. That is not the pink color I want. I was looking for a softer, that's a little too orangey. I like that color, but that's not what I'm looking for this week. Maybe this color. That's still orangey. I'm looking for something that kind of coordinates with this. This might work. I think this is going to be, that's just too soft. I'm not going to see that very well. But I can pull this out as maybe a secondary color. I thought I had some better pinks. Maybe I'm thinking of this pink. This is kind of a purpley pink. Maybe I'll use this as my purple instead of doing this purple, right? This is almost too purple for what we've got going on in here. So I'm going to put this one away. We're going to substitute this purple here. And I guess we're going to go with this pink. I'm okay with it being a bright, kind of colorful week. And then we'll do these, and we have this as kind of our backup color. So let's see. I'm going to start with work. Now this work block here is going to be a little bit thicker than what I normally would do if I have a work block. And that is because I'm going to include flight information in this work block because that is technically part of work. And I'm going to be working kind of all the way through the weekend. Because my flight is not until Saturday afternoon. So And then I think what I have an little airplane washi. It's a skinny one. So let me see if I can find that really quick. I'm going to come over to my washi shelves and see, because it would be great to put that little airplane kind of above where I want to put my flight information. And then I can just have an area that's kind of designated for that. If I can find it fairly quickly. So we don't want to take all day looking for this. Goodness, where is it? I know the washi that I have. But I just do not know where it is at the moment. Goodness. You ever have that happen where you know that you have a thing and you just cannot put your finger on it? It doesn't happen to me very often because I'm usually pretty organized. But in this case, I'm pretty sure I have a little teeny tiny washi with some airplanes on it. One of the skinnier ones. But I am not putting my finger on it right now. So we'll make it work without it. Okay, I'm coming back to the desk here. We are going to, okay, I'm back. We're going to go into I have my sticker books in different volumes. So the ones that I use less often are in volume 2, my functional stickers. And that includes things like sports and food. These are all food stickers, and then this one has travel. So we are going to find us some cute little airplane stickers. You know, I've got all of these really adorable stickers that could potentially go over here. We will see. And then I don't even have the plain stickers I thought I had. I thought I had more plain stickers. And I do have these. These will work. Put 2 of these for our flights. And then I do have this one that has our little check-in. So this one here, I'm going to grab both these check-ins. All right. Sticker book away. I'm going to put that right there. And on Wednesday, right there. That way I can put all the flight information. So I'm just going to write in here that this is my flight. And I'm going to use this pen this week because it's got plenty of ink in it. So this is going to be St. Louis. Actually, I like this. I think I'm going to put it right over the Tombow because I can see it way better. There we go. This is St. Louis to Fort Lauderdale, and this is Fort Lauderdale to St. Louis. And I'll put times and all of that in there. Those are on my phone. So obviously you guys are on my phone right now. So we're not putting that in. And then I know I do have a meeting here. And the reason that I'm going down is we have an in-person meeting on Friday. So this is going to be at the usual time, which is escaping my tired brain right now. This is at 2 p.m. We have the construction meeting. And then I don't know what time this one is, but this is our meeting with Marriott. Our hotel will be a Marriott branded hotel. And so that is, they're coming down to check everything out at the hotel, make sure everything is good. So this says check-in. Now, I don't stay in the hotel. I stay at a house. So this is for my flight check-in because, you know, you have to check in, especially right now. We're flying Southwest, and so you have to check in the day before to your flight. So I want that on there. And going to need to pack. This is date night, so I think I'm going to do most of my packing on here on Monday night. So Monday night I will be getting the bulk of my packing done, and then I can check into the flight. I work during the day here. My flight is later in the day, and then I'll fly out. I will be there all week, and then I will fly back. So this is more of my kind of work block here. I am going to up here, maybe in this, maybe in this color, we are going to put our 2 locations for weather. So this is going to be St. Louis weather, and this is going to be Lake Worth weather. So we will get those numbers or that weather in a minute. Let's see. You've got date night. So the way I'm dividing this up here, because again, I am not going to use the times because during the time that I'm traveling, my time will be completely up in the air, you know, especially if my bosses are there, then I have no idea what time I'm going to be doing things. I just know I'll be, you know, going out to eat or what have you during that time while we're there. So I don't want to have a very set plan. Um, this one, I need to film. So again, this Friday, whatever I'm filming here is going to look a lot different. It will be very strange I will to work away from my desk um, on that day. And so this will be the plan with me. This will be filming. This is date night. Um, there's that. This is always, when I travel is always a great time to catch up on my reading. So at least I'll kind of get a chance to get a little caught up on that. And let's get some lines in. I'm just trying to put in things that I know right now. Because again, whenever you have a really confusing week, start with what you know. What are our knowns for the week? Get those in place and then kind of work around that with your unknowns. So again, I have got a couple different known things. And there we go. So even though, and you know what, I think I want to put a line between these two as well. And I'm just going to do it part way. So this is not going to be a full-fledged line. It's just going to be a dashed area almost across. Just to give it a little bit of a different look. I always do kind of this solid line here at the bottom, but you could do something like this if you don't want it to look quite so straight across the page. If you just kind of want to separate the spaces without making it feel like a full element along the page, this works really great for doing that. And I just basically left a box on either side that was undone, and that way it kind of fades into the background and you don't see that line as much. And uh-oh, goodness, hang on, looks like I froze. So let me stand back up. See if that worked. So it usually has worked in the past. Okay, there we go. I'm going to let's get the weather while we're talking about this. So because my computer kind of froze up a little bit, I'm not sure exactly how much you guys heard of all of that. So I'm just going to mention it again. Excuse me. So if you don't want a line all the way across to turn into a feature, because when you put a line all the way across, that kind of becomes an anchoring element of the page. If you don't want to do that and you want something a bit more casual, that's going to kind of fade into the background, you can do this where you leave a little gap between the days, between these lines. and that'll give you something that really kind of recedes to the background. It's still a line all the way across, but it doesn't have that feeling to it. So let's see. We're going to start with our current location here in St. Louis. Goodness. All of a sudden my throat is very, very dry. We are going to look at our 10-day. St. Louis goes here on the top. So it's going to be pretty nice on Monday and Tuesday. And then starting Wednesday, it's going to kind of take a turn for the worse. And that's great because that's when I leave. So we are going to go 79, 60. And 82, 60. And then 65, 31. Yeek. 55, 44, 66, 39. And on Wednesday, it is supposed to rain. Ooh, it's going to be nasty. Not fun. And then we've got a Friday the 13th, which is awesome. And then I always have lucky days on Friday the 13th. That's always a great day for me. So I'm glad that that's the day of the Marriott meeting. So that'll be fantastic. And then we've got 57 and 45 to come back to. It's not terrible. And then 61 and 30. And then we've got Florida. Oh, goodness, it's going to be raining in Florida. So, see, and I should check, go backwards for a minute to see. So we don't have any rain the rest of the week here in St. Louis, but in Florida, we are going to have rain. And I'm going to put this kind of over. It usually takes about 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will start, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and start here. So it is going to be 84, 72, and nice when I'm not there. Um, 84 and 72 both days. Okay, I was wondering if maybe I was just seeing things, but no. 85, 72, 87. Probably why there's thunderstorms. When it starts to warm up, um, that's when you start to get that kind of severe weather. We're supposed to have thunderstorms that day. '82, 70. Also with thunderstorms. I mean, it's also spring, so spring you have to expect that all the time. 82, 71. Also thunderstorms. And Sunday, 83, 69. And these are scattered and isolated thunderstorms that they're going to have. So it's one of those things where it may or may not hit. And if it does, they'll be probably pretty brief. Florida's like that in the spring. If you've not been, that's just kind of typical for springtime for that area. So I'm going to put here that I am in St. Louis. And then I go to Lake Worth. And then we come back to St. Louis. That way I just have a little record of, where I'm going to be when. Oh, good morning, Keisha. You are feeling that last hour? Oh my gosh, me too. I am definitely feeling that last hour for sure. I just looked up and noticed the chat, so hopefully you haven't been waiting for a minute for me to say hi. I am just very discombobulated this morning. So we are working on, I'm going to be in St. Louis, then we travel on this day, and then I'll be in Florida for apparently a bunch of thunderstorms. And then I travel back on Saturday. So it's going to feel I'm going to feel the lost hour again, I'm sure, next week because we definitely are going to have a little craziness. But yeah, I felt this last hour this morning too. I was about 5 minutes late to my own live, which I do not like to do. This, we're going to do Planet Fitness here. And Planet Fitness here. I have still been just going to do the stand-up light box at Planet Fitness. I have not yet started doing any type of working out there, but I probably will at some point. But what I'll probably do here is so my flight is around the middle of the afternoon. I'll just leave work probably around noon, do Planet Fitness, maybe a little bit later, maybe like 1, do Planet Fitness. It's right down the road from work, and then head to the airport from there. And just get in the um, my goodness, my brain is just not functioning this morning. Ah, goodness. Oh, Keisha, I have to tell you, I had the best night last night, but I'm so tired. So bear with me. We are posting and watching. Oops. Usually I do reading first, but reading will go after. It really doesn't matter. It's on the page, right? And eating. This is going to be an interesting trip because I do have to meet with Marriott. Their people come down and just make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing because it's going to be a Marriott branded hotel, part of their autograph collection, and I forgot to add my week number here. Let's get that. So they have to come down and check everything out. And I've not handled a Marriott meeting, and it looks like I might be on my own for this one. So I'm a little nervous about it. It's possible. My bosses have a potential conflict. They're supposed to be down there, um, which is it's nice when they're down there because they know everybody and they know where to go to eat and all that kind of stuff. But they have a potential conflict, so it might just be me on my own down there, um, which is fine. But um, you know, it's it's fine, but it's going to be a little crazy. So I think that is what I know for right now. I am going to pull up my calendar and just on the computer and see if there's anything else um, that I have to remember here. But last week we put our little lost an hour of sleep sticker here, and boy, yeah, you were right. I felt that. uh, so now, do we have anything else that I need to be paying attention to? All right, this is something here that I need to pay attention to. So I'm just gonna do another little block here, and then 3. Malcolm just has a checkup with the doctor, nothing major. So I just want to have it on my calendar so that I know in case there's, something that he needs, because I will be on my way to the airport. I'll probably be at the airport by then. So if there's information or something he needs, I want to make sure that I'm available. And then over here, we have got our Oscars. Which means by Monday, the 16th, I am going to be exhausted. um, because I will be up late doing that and then watching that, and then I will also be having to do all of the videos for the following week, in one day. Now I'm going to have to do that this week too, because truth be told, I had grand plans. I even wrote them down here. I had grand plans and I wrote this in this book instead of in the YouTube planner because I was thinking about this while I was at work and I just needed to get it out of my brain. And so I took a minute to just write this all down, of what I need to film. And as you can see, I had plans that I was going to film stuff on Friday, I was going to film stuff on Saturday, and I did none of that because we had other things going on Saturday and Friday. I was quite frankly just too exhausted to deal with that. So, um, all of everything that I think I want to do needs to get done. If I want to do it for this week, needs to get done today. And then for next week, whatever I don't get done today, because my plan was to do a little bit like the YouTube planner and stuff like that ahead of time, for next week as well. Because I definitely need to have the washi selection done because I'm flying back on Saturday, so I can't do the washi selection during the week. So yeah, there's a lot that needs to get coordinated with making sure that I have everything for the channel as well. Um, so busy, 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 busy week. Goodness. And weeks in general. I've mentioned before that as as things start to warm up and we come out of winter, my schedule gets a lot busier. And, this is just a small example of it. I know this doesn't look like a lot, but I actually need a lot of room to write all of the coordination items as they're coming up. So, you know, this week, as I'm trying to figure everything out, I'm going to want certain information to be on these particular days instead of on my Alistair task list, which is actually what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to let's take this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put that there. But yeah, there's so much to figure out and coordinate that I want to make sure that I leave plenty of space for that kind of thing. That's what I was saying. Um, as I get into the week, I don't know what else is going to come up, and I want to have plenty of room just to figure it out as I go along. I'm going to take this super light pink that we got out here, and I'm going to use that to do our columns down. Probably the ones across as well. So last week, I didn't do the lines, the horizontal lines, and I really missed them last week. Sometimes I forget to do them and I don't even notice that I haven't done them. But last week, I was tired and I really just kind of needed that visual distinction of which line was which. And so I'm going to make sure that I get those in this week. So I know a lot of people do this in accounting, right? Where you have highlight every other line. And you have tables and things. So that's all this is. I like to do this in a really light color if I do it. And that'll kind of help some of the where it crosses the vertical, because Tombos are buildable colors. That'll kind of help a little bit there as well. I'm glad you're liking these vibes. I am too. I needed something simple. I needed to not have to think too hard. This is going to be kind of a crazy busy week and month in general. So I have to travel back to Florida again at the end of the month. And it is possible that Malcolm will be traveling with me for that one. We're trying to figure out if we want to, if that's going to coordinate correctly or not. But I have a meeting on the 24th, and he may or may not come down and hang out with me. If he comes, then we would, if he comes down, then we would go over the weekend. If he doesn't come with me, then I'll go down on Monday for that and be there for Tuesday. Now, where is my pen? I think I'm going to have to use one of the microns because I think I threw my Sharpie into my purse last night. So last night I didn't really talk about this. I said that I went somewhere, but I really didn't say where it was at the beginning because I figured I would talk about it as we were going along, but then I totally forgot. But last night I went to the funnest event. It was a gala fundraiser for the St. Louis Public Library System, and it was great fun. We had such a good time. Um, my boss invited me to go with her and her friends, and the fundraiser was Clue themed. So, um, the Clue theme was, uh, goodness, where are we at here? Oh, the Clue theme, everybody dressed up in, well, not everybody. I would say it was probably quite a few people dressed up. Um, in costumes. So I did some detective costuming and had a fedora, and I have a magnifying glass necklace that I got when, so this, when I started to need to use readers a lot, and I wanted something that I could wear that I could use instead of readers just very occasionally. And so I got this super cute magnifying glass necklace. So I wore this, and then I also had a regular magnifying glass because, we have one in the house. Um, so I had my little sleuth outfit. Um, but it was very cool. They had a platform, just a small box in each room with a character, a person standing on top in character. Um, and when you walked up to them, they would give you a clue, a paper clue, and um, and then you could ask them additional questions. And the idea was that there was a different character in all the different rooms of the library, and you had to um, figure out who done it, what room they'd done it in, and of course there was a victim. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get the video flagged, but it was, an an alive party, um, and so I'm not going to say the actual word, but it was a mystery. There was a person that had been mysteriously um, unalived, and you had to go around and gather all the clues, and then figure out um, who the person was, what room they did it in, and what object they did it with. So kind of like a live game of Clue, um, as you went around collecting everything. And um, then they had little red fish all around that said, and they had a red herring game. So each of the fish had a different letter on them. And if you collected all of the letters, then you could spell the red herring word, and then you could get a prize, which was a Swedish fish, piece of candy. So it was just fun. Obviously nothing. It was a fundraiser, so the prizes were books for the if you got the correct answer, your card got entered into a drawing, and the person who won got a basket of mystery books and some wine. um, so just really, really fun. um, So that was last night, and then I didn't get home until almost midnight, and so now I'm just exhausted. And then we lost that hour of sleep, so I am just exhausted. Okay, I think that's right. I'm second guessing everything I do today, I tell ya. Okay, I'm good with that. So that is my Alistair list for this week. I still need to review because I've done half of this and not some of the other stuff. Like I decided I am not going to remove my nail polish because I didn't have time to go to the salon. So I just need to go through this list and kind of see what got done and what didn't, because I did some of it and didn't mark it off. I didn't do other things, and I'm going to need to forward some items. But I think when I get back on Sunday, I'll probably remove the nail polish. It's getting, I don't like it when it does this. It doesn't look as nice, um, when it has that bare nail showing at the bottom. So, but I also don't like to go too frequently to get them done because I did do the gels, and the reason that I hadn't worn nail polish before recently is because my nails got really ruined um, by getting the gels done too frequently. So I'm gonna leave these on another week, and then it's just that gel nail polish. They're my regular nails underneath, but I'm gonna leave it on another week, and then I'll take it off, and maybe on Monday of the following week I will get it done. Um, but let's look at March as a whole here, right? So I'm traveling to Florida here. I'm going to be traveling to Florida again here. I need to, at some point, finish tackling my goals. Um, I'm going to put in the travel here. Oops. It's going to be interesting coming into St. Louis on the 14th. So the 14th for everyone else is typically Pi Day, right? A lot of people have fun with Pi Day, but for St. Louis, it has a little extra meaning, because the area code for a long time for the St. Louis area was 314. I don't know if they've expanded area codes at all, but 314 is still the main area code here in St. Louis. So Pi Day is also here in St. Louis 314 Day. And so, um, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Oh, Keisha, you do yours at home? Yeah, I got removers so that I can remove it at home because I find that they'll use that machine and the filing machine, and that is what damage does the most damage to my nails. Um, I can do my nails because I worked as a manicurist for 10 years of my life. However, I find it such a treat to have someone else do them. So, lately, as I'm older and I have the time and the money to have someone else do them, I let somebody else do them. But this time with the gels, I'm going to leave them on a little bit longer. I'm going to resist. As soon as I start to see that natural nail appear, I have that urge to get them done. And so the last time I had them on, I did them every 2 weeks. So, um, 312 was Chicago, yep. So, but Chicago never made a big deal about 312. And so, but that would be here on Thursday. And then the following week is Malcolm's birthday, and then I'm going to be traveling again, and then my daughter's birthday. So it is just kind of super crazy here. There's just a lot going on. So that's fine. And then I have a high school friend who's going to be in town for a magic convention. There's a big magic convention in Southern Illinois in kind of this town It's north of St. Louis, but not too far. And he is a big fan of magic, and so he will be down for that. So we'll meet up for coffee. We did that last year. He got to meet Malcolm, and it was great fun. Um, so So that was fantastic. So that'll happen this week. I don't know when. So I just put a flag, one of these little, I have a lot of little post-it flags like this. Um, I know he's coming. I just don't know when. I'm not going to leave this in here. I'll put an actual note in here. Kind of like I do with this Florida thing, and I keep moving the travel to Florida to the next time. Um, Oh, the nail stuff was yeah, I did not pick up a lot. I picked up some nail stuff on Vine, um, but I ended up uh, not really using it. So I don't know. It just didn't, it's such a nice treat to be able to have someone else take care of it that I'm so in the habit now. Um, if they're natural, I shape them and manicure them myself. But when I have them done, I let somebody else do them at this point. I am going to get some stickers. We're going to go back to that travel area because I have these, and these are the same. I don't know why I'm taking up two slots for the same sticker. We're going to rectify that right now. But let's see. I'm going to take this sticker here and we will put it right in there. Let's hope that we don't take off at that angle because that is too steep of an angle. And we'll put this one down in here. That'll fit perfectly. So, yeah, when I had kids, I didn't do it as often, go out as often either, because it was at that point it was way harder when the kids were home to get away from the house. I was a single mom, and so for a long time, and it was just too difficult to step out, and you don't want to take the kids to the nail salon. That's not fun. Uh, it just they're bored, and when they're bored they act up and it's crazy, and so yeah, it's just nicer to not. I'm gonna really kind of heavily look through my stickers here. Ooh, I get to add. So yesterday, despite my exhausting day, I did complete my rings, and lately, I don't know if you guys have noticed, um, when I look at my monthlies, but I have been putting in a little sticker on the monthly whenever I complete my rings. So I have these cute little, um, I have an Apple Watch, and I have these really cute, from Once More with Love, these close your rings stickers. And so, on the days that happens, it's still unusual enough that it, it doesn't happen every single day. And so on the days when it does, I've been adding a little um, close your ring sticker to the days. So while I'm passing that in my book, I'm going to put that in there. But we're looking for stickers for this. I want to find something for the Oscars. I think I used to have little trophy stickers. I'm not sure where those are right now. And I'm just going to kind of go through and see if there are any other stickers that I want to include in my plans. I'll probably use some of these. I like these when I go on a trip. I don't know if I used them last time. Let's see. I don't think I did because I forgot to take them with. But this time I'm going to take them with. So like when we're doing these little visits where we have dinner and um, that kind of thing, it's just nice to have these little stickers. So I'm going to take these right now and I'm going to tuck them in the back here so that I have them available to me while we're traveling. Um, and I do also have, I have a larger version of those as well here. I just realized that I'm looking through this off camera and you guys probably want to look at what's in this sticker book. There's so many cute things in here. Let's see. I have a lot of reading things, but I don't need any of those right now. These would probably be great for the Clue party that we did. That'd be kind of fun. I'm trying to think because I need to put in a sticker for the murder mystery. Ah, here we go. This is going to be perfect for the party that I went to last night. So I'm going to take this right here. And we're going to get this on. We're kind of bouncing all around here, but this is kind of what I do as, you know, throughout the week. And I really haven't had time to do it yet. I'm going to put this kind of off center. Right. And it's not on that day, so I'm going to not put it there. Going to move it over here. Put it a little bit off center here where it actually goes. And we're going to write in, this was the St. Louis Public Library. This went all night. This was one of those instances where I went way beyond, you know, I was down here when I got home. But I don't really need to mark all that. Okay. So let's get back to our day that we're working on. And what have we got? There's got to be some kind of little trophy that I have. There's some kind of trophy somewhere. I've got, this is cute, for mystery, for the mystery books. I do have these with the crown, but they have that label at the bottom. But I am going to take one of these little mystery guys. Yep, I do make it back for the Oscars. I'm very happy to be able to be back for that. At least in theory, we all know how airline travel goes. There we go. Get all kinds of little clues over here. The hope is that I make it back for the Oscars if the flights go according to plan. Hopefully they will. That's always the hope, right? I'm not going to put a weekend banner because I'm kind of breaking it up with the travel anyway. So it's not really going to feel like a weekend. Where's my little trophy? I thought I had a little trophy. Maybe I do not. Well, maybe I'll just have to draw a little trophy, I guess. I could have sworn I had some kind of little... I guess I could give it a gold star. We could do that. One last look. Nope. So, yeah, I think we'll just give it maybe a gold and a red star because those are Oscar colors. They're not really going to match with the theme, but that's kind of the plan, to just kind of highlight the Oscars because that is one of my favorite things. So there we go. Now I have highlighted the Oscars. I've also made it so that I can't add a bunch of extra plans for this day, which is good because I am going to need to rest. But if something does come up for this day that I really need to get in here, I do have room up here and I could add it up here. That would be fine. And then the 13th is a lucky day. So I always like to put, there we go. I always like to mark that Friday the 13th is something that I consider lucky because, you know, you get out into the world and so many people have the, what is it, triskaidekaphobia, which is that fear of Friday the 13th. And I really don't. I always find Friday the 13th to be a very lucky day for me, a very good day. And so I like to make sure I maintain that in my brain, despite everybody always being like, oh, you know, it's terrible, it's awful. So I always try and mark it that it's lucky. And then I'm going to add this right here, this little passport that says check for license. Or, whoops, wrong pen. I'm going to say check for license. So that once I'm at work, I remember to check that I have my driver's license. I mean, I always do. I have to have it to drive to work, in theory. But I'm going to put that there just so that I make sure that before I leave for the airport, I check for my license in the morning, and then I have plenty of time to run home and get it if I need to. So I think this is going to be where I leave it for the week. Keisha, thank you so much for joining me. It was fun. And I will see you the rest of the week. You know, again, I will have my Monday, Wednesday videos done. Wednesday's already uploaded because that is last week. And then Monday, I'll do that later today for sure. And then hopefully we'll have some other, I've got so many packages. So this is the Coffee Monsters Co. I've got so many packages around that I need to open. And so we will open them at some point, hopefully before I leave, because I'd like to look at all the cute stuff before I leave. And I've got those fountain pen inks to open. I'm kind of waiting now because I ordered some black sticky notes and I want to have those to test out the fountain pens on, rather than using one of my journals, but we'll see. And So anyway, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. I enjoyed planning this week, and hopefully I'll feel a bit more situated by the time I get back from all of this next week. So we'll see you guys then. Bye. Thanks for joining me.